Now the thing is, in Arabic you expect لِيَتَزَكَّى. He gave his money so that he may be cleansed. So that he may clean himself up. Remember, the previous surah told us, who is the one who succeeded? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Zakkaha. And this surah is teaching, you want to become clean? You want to purify yourself? How do you do it? يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. He gave his wealth, but what the translation I'm trying to get at is, he gave his wealth in order to cleanse himself. Right? But the in order to part would have been the letter lam. الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ لِيَتَزَكَّى. But there's no lam here. You know what that is teaching us? Give wealth, you won't purify yourself. Who's going to purify you? Allah is going to purify you. Giving of wealth will not purify you in and of itself. In the end, Allah Azza wa Jalla will purify. This is not cause and effect. So what this yatazakka illustrates is, in hopes that he will cleanse himself. In hopes of cleaning himself, he gives wealth. That Allah will clean him. That Allah will cleanse the filth inside of him. Remember in the previous session, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about that dua where we ask Allah to clean us. Right? أَنْتَ خَيْرُ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. You're the best of those who can cleanse it. So here we're learning that lesson again. So what's the purpose of giving wealth? Cleaning oneself up as a gift of Allah Azza wa Jal. You give the gift to the poor and Allah cleans you up. And Allah cleans you up. SubhanAllah. May Allah make us all cleansed. The other benefit of this ayah, it's so beautiful. You know the surah began, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى, the one who gave a lot. But here we don't read, الَّذِي يُعْطِي مَالَهُ. What do we read? الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ. He gives. Allah doesn't say He gives a lot. He says to cleanse yourself, the condition isn't to give a lot now. To cleanse yourself, just start giving. And you know, there in the previous setting, أَعْطَى, it was left open. Allah didn't say أَعْطَى مَالَهُ. He gave a lot of His wealth. Allah didn't mention wealth. So what do you give a lot of if you don't have wealth? You give your time, you give your effort, you give your youth, everything. But if Allah mentioned mal there, what about the poor people? They don't have a lot to give. But when it came to giving, He didn't say giving a lot here, He just said giving. Here He mentioned mal. Yu'ti malahu. Why? Because even the poorest person can give something. Everyone can give something. If you only have 2 dates, just take a scrape, the peel off, give that. Give a seed. Give something. Give something. Allah doesn't ask you to give a lot because you may not have a lot. And how do we know that? Allah doesn't say yu'ti malahu, He says yu'ti malahu. But when it came to giving in general, which means give of your loves, give of your aspirations, give of your youth, give of your talent, and give of your wealth if you have, give of your life, then you a'ta, no limitation, no objects placed. Here an object has been placed, which is an amazing illustration, again, of giving of wealth. Even just keep giving a little, don't stop. Make it a habit. Every time you come to masjid, just drop something off. Give some to the needy, give something to sadaqah box. Just make it a habit. Keep cleansing your wealth. Keep losing the love of it. Tell your children why they should do it. Every time you give them a gift, teach them to give sadaqah. Teach them to be grateful. Teach them to be giving people. We're giving our kids too many toys. Too many toys. And they're not giving anything to anyone. So much so, some kid comes over to your house and they grab one of your kids' toys. What happens to your child? They have a hernia right there. He's holding my doll, he's holding my teddy bear. You know, we're teaching them greed. This is the age where we have to teach them what? Giving. Because if they learn greed now, it's never going to leave. It's never going to leave. You think your kids are good just because they come into masjid? This attitude of giving and not giving is the key in this surah. It's the key to have a clean person. So teach your children to give. Give to each other, give to neighbors, give in sadaqah, right? Train them and give of the things they love. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Teach yourself this, teach your children this. You know, for Eid, buy new clothes, right? And give half of them to somebody else. Or buy new clothes and give them to somebody else altogether. We bought this, you know, because Allah will give us even better. Yeah? How much better? A lot better. Really? Yeah. Teach your children that. Make them imagine what Allah will give them. Now Allah says, now the human being will be informed. What did he make a priority out of? And what did he put on the back burner? That's the translation I'll prefer here. بِمَا قَدَّمَ. What did he give priority to? What took taqdeem for him? What was priority number 1? What took precedence? وَمَا أَخَّرَ. And what could wait? What were the things that you put on the back burner? The crime of the human being isn't necessarily that he doesn't do a good deed. The human being says, it can wait. I can do it later. The crime of the human being isn't necessarily that he doesn't leave sin. He says, I'll leave it later. Or, let me do what I want right now. I'll do that later. I have time. Taqdeem and ta'khir, not the grammar one. The
the one for life. Human beings will be thoroughly informed. What were your priorities? What did you put ahead? What came first for you? What came later for you? بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. The other meaning of قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ in Tafsir Juz Amma I mentioned also, قَدَّمَ also means what you've sent forward. You've done deeds, you've done works, and every one of them are waiting for you. Our deeds are waiting for us. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ رَهِينَ. You've sent collateral over. You've sent deeds over for processing. And you're going to meet those deeds on Judgment Day. I don't meet my deeds now, I just do them now. I will meet them then. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. Then you're standing face to face in front of their salahs. If your salat was lousy, you'll be standing in front of a lousy salat, staring right at you. That's what it's going to be. If you were lying, cheating, backbiting, angry, arrogant, condescending, whatever you were, you'll be looking right at you in the face. And then you're going to say, مَالِ هَذَا الْكِتَابِ. That's the reality of it. بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. What did he make a priority out of? What did he put on the back burner? This is one of those life-transforming ayat. The human being will be thoroughly informed. This was your priority. This is what you spent time on. This is what you did with your free time. This is what you thought can wait. You had all these dreams. I want to memorize the Qur'an. What did you do for it? How many seasons of how many TV shows did you watch instead? That was a priority for you. You wanted to memorize, but it can wait though. Inshallah, one day, when my heart is purified, then I shall start. You know? بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ بَلِ الْإِنسَانِ. No. Yes, on that day the human being will be given thorough news, but it's not like the human being's blind now. Rather, the case is that the human being, عَلَى نَفْسِهِ, against his own self, بَصِيرًا, is fully insightful. There is one person that knows so much about you, and nobody else knows about you. And besides Allah, and that's you. You have an insight into who you are, what your flaws are, what your limitations are, what your capabilities are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what opportunities you avail, what opportunities you get lazy about. You know that about yourself more than anybody else. And you and I decide to lie to ourselves. We just decide we're not going to have an honest conversation with ourselves, and about ourselves with Allah. We don't want to have that honest conversation. For some people, all they want at the end of their life, what is success to them? Maybe I'll own a house. That's success for them. Maybe if I have this much money, that means I have success. Maybe if I got married to this one or that one, maybe that means I have success. But I go back to what I started with. There are some people who are happy with doing just the minimum. Just the minimum. But I am here to tell you, the young people in the audience today, Allah has blessed you, and I am telling you, He expects great things from you. He does not expect the minimum from you. There are so many Muslims, the only thing left of Islam is their name. That's the only thing left. They don't care about salat, they don't care about halal and haram. They're far from this deen. What can I do to further this deen? What can I do I shouldn't just be happy that so many people come and attend Jumu'ah. Does that mean everybody's heart is clean? Does that mean that we don't need any more reminder? Is that what that means? Or are there evils in our society? Are there youth that are turning towards drugs? Are there young people that are just living their life for no purpose? All they do is play video games and watch movies and go to sleep. And if you ask them for a purpose, they say, I want to graduate and get a job. Is that a goal? Get a job? Allah gave us such higher goals. Your job itself is a means to a higher end. But you know what? We are living in strange times. The people who need the da'wah the most today are the Muslims themselves. But even if you get a good job, but you don't do your job. You got the job, but you show up late every day. You got the job, but you don't finish any projects. You're sitting there at the desk wasting your time. You're going to lose that job. Somebody else will come and do it for you. You will not keep that job even if you qualified. Qualifications are not enough. You have to do the work.